What a beautiful night at Phoenix Raceway. 65 degrees, clear skies, perfect conditions to settle a championship. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series about to go green with 4 drivers vying for the title. Camping World starting lineup, bottom of the screen, qualifying earlier this afternoon. Zane Smith, one of our championship 4, earning his first career pole, and he'll start from the point alongside rookie Lane Riggs. One of our championship 4 is Chandler Smith, starting deepest in the field of the 4 title contenders.
Let's see if we can get a word with him. Hey Chandler, Michael Waltrip and the Fox team. How you doing, buddy?
I'm freezing, Mikey. It's cold out here in the desert.
Well, you're getting ready to heat up. Starting 12th, you see the 3 guys ahead of you that matter most. Last year here, you dominated this race. Can you do it again tonight? And what's it going to take to do so? Uh-oh. We're having some problem there with our radio. But he's going to wonder where I went, Vince.
You want to just presume what he's going to say?
Yeah, I know,
I
know exactly what he was going to say. He said, Mikey, we just have to execute. We have to be good on pace. He's going to say everything Phil and I already said. Yeah. But hearing it from the driver's seat is always more fun.
Hey, he wasn't, he did dominate last year, but he wasn't one of the championship 4. Is that a different feeling as he sits in that seat tonight, knowing that he is going for the championship?
A NASCAR champion.
It has to be. It has to be.
The greatest feeling in the world for these drivers to go out and contend for one of these championships. Let's take a look at the Camping World track description. You see the track's a mile in length, variable banking in the corners. That means action all over the place, and especially down that front straightaway like we mentioned earlier. They're going to be racing off the track all night long.
Let's take a look at our race analysis. As you can see, 150 laps, 150 miles. Our stages are 45 and 45 for the first and second stage. Final stage, 60 laps. You see our pit window. So these guys do not have to make a green flag pit stop. And Michael, if you get a caution just before the end of those stages, those championship guys are coming down pit road to get that track position.
Let's check in with our pit reporters one more time before we go green. We'll begin with Jamie Little.
Well, Vince, there's a lot of talk about the championship 4, but remember there's 31 other drivers in the field hoping to end their season in victory lane. How about this guy, Corey Heim, the number 51? He's already found victory twice this season. He wants to take out that KBM and Toyota era in style by bringing home the trophy. Jamie?
Well, in a qualifying session where Lane Riggs says he surprised even himself, the 20-year-old son of former NASCAR driver Scott Riggs was able to post a lap good enough to start on the front row. He's in the number 62 from Homer Friesen Toyota for the 3rd time this season. He's looking to gain exposure and put together a program to race here in trucks in 2023. He has the pace, lacks the experience, but from what his team said today, he has what it takes to turn some heads, Josh.
Well, just the 6th start of the season for Johnny Sauter and the first one in the 02 truck with Young's Motorsports, and he's shown he's still got it despite racing part-time. He's got 2 top 5s this season, including a runner-up finish. When I talked to Johnny before the race, he said he doesn't know what the future holds. He says he's got some opportunities, but he wants to go back to full-time racing. He also says the future is kind of out of his control at this point. He's going to go out, have some fun tonight, and see what happens, guys.
Yeah, Johnny Sauter, one of 3 former Phoenix winners in the field, along with Friesen and the 18 of Chandler Smith. Speaking of the 18 of Smith, how about some radio from the contender?
Let's go do it, boys. That's what I'm talking about, big boy. It's all about going to war right here. Let's go give them hell tonight. We love you, buddy. Tonight we get to go do something people dream of, so let's go execute on it, be perfect in all areas, and go celebrate tonight.
I'm so proud of you guys, no matter what happens tonight. Proud of everybody, but you know what we're after. Let's go do this.
I couldn't set it better, buddy. Love doing this with you guys.
You know we got a good truck. Do us a hell of a job tonight. We'll be there at the end here.
Sir, get in the zone like we did last year. We'll be just fine.
Oh, love it. I love that communication. And getting a real feel of the vibe that runs through each of these teams before they go green to race for a championship.
The common thread is execute. Let's execute, not make any mistakes.
And also a common thread is this is special. This is a big night. We can do something that we've always dreamed of, become a NASCAR champion. And they're lined up and ready to go. And we're not going to have to wait long to see what 4 or 5 wide looks like, are we, Phil?
Not at all.
Ben Rhodes would win his second championship. He'd be the first to go back-to-back since Crafton did it in 13-14. The other 3 would be winning for the first time. And we are green at Phoenix. The title on the line tonight. Corey Heim diving to the bottom, trying to be a factor right out of the gate.
Nice run off turn 2 there for Zane Smith. Momentum works out. He gets the lead into 3.
Had a little push from Lane Riggs in the 62 truck. Look at Lane on the outside. Nice corner, nice exit of the corner there.
There's the 18 of Chandler Smith. Started deepest in the field of our championship contenders, starting 12th, so got a little traffic to work through.
What do you think? What do you say, Vince, that he's not cold anymore?
Wow, and Riggs has gone to the front. How about Lane Riggs? Just his 3rd start, now being challenged on the inside by Zane Smith. But Riggs in that 62 really should have won his debut race at Indianapolis Raceway Park. He had that race won and then got dumped in the final laps. Ended up not getting the result he deserved. But don't sleep on that 62. Lane Riggs qualified on the front row tonight, and he is out front.
What a power move around the outside. We wondered what passing was going to be like tonight. No traction compound in 1 and 2. Spread it out a little bit more in 3 and 4. I know there's a lot of other competitors, the Xfinity drivers, the Cup guys, thinking, what will this track do? Where will these truckers make the moves at? This is impressive for Lane Riggs.
It sure is.
Wow. Second truck on the track in qualifying. Early in qualifying, you'd think that'd be a disadvantage. Obviously, it wasn't.
And as Jamie Howe mentioned, the son of former NASCAR driver Scott Riggs. So the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, but Lane has looked like a veteran from the get-go.
And guys, he has credentials. He won the national short track championship, beat out Peyton Sellers for that crown this year.
Let's go down to Jamie Howe for more on the 62.
Before the green flag fell, he was already talking to his spotter, Robert Arch, about the communication, how they're going to talk to each other over the course of the race. And they said, just use simple words. You know, we're feeling this out. We're going to get through these stages one at a time. And that's what he's doing right now. But he's already 5 laps into this race, telling the team what changes he's going to need when they do make that first round of pit stops. Huge amount of potential for Lane Riggs here in the Truck Series.
Well, Zane Smith running second, and the 2 of them have separated themselves a bit from Corey Heim and Stuart Friesen. And then you got to go back 2 seconds to find the next championship contender in the 99 of Ben Rhodes. Meanwhile, Chandler Smith still mired back at 11th.
Looks like he has a pretty decent truck, though. You see him able to make the move to the inside, trying to get to the inside of Christian Eckes, who's on the inside of
they're going to make
Gray. He's getting loose.
That's hard to do right there.
That's going to open up that bottom for Chandler Smith. He's just going to get them both.
Yeah, 2 for the price of 1, and Grant Enfinger going to come with him in that yellow 23.
If you're new to NASCAR racing, when these trucks are side by side in the corners, they're really loose. The truck on the bottom wants to spin out. No downforce on that right side. As you see the battle here.
Zane Smith coming right back to take the point from Riggs. Riggs right on the bumper, but Zane Smith's going to get the position. Can he hold it?
Phil, don't you love the fact that Lane Riggs said, I know there's a championship on the line, but I'm here to win a race. And he's going after one of the best in the Truck Series this year, a guy racing for that championship in Zane Smith.
And a caution is out, and it's the 33 truck that has gone around. That's Keith McGee. And the 20 also involved in that, Armani Williams. And big hit for Williams in the back end of that truck. The 20 out of the Young's Motorsports camp. Armani, just his 3rd start.
Yeah, just you can see the rejection and the disappointment in that truck hitting the steering wheel.
For a young driver, it's all about running the laps. Try to run all the laps, and unfortunately, their night's going to be cut short.
They were running back at the tail of the field, but it just lets you know that even at the tail of the field, you're battling, right?
Yeah, from the very front of the field all the way to the back, Vince.
I think it's pretty even now, right now. I know Zane's leading, but see if we can take a look at this. All by themselves, it's kind of, someone must have got a little bit loose and the other guy got together.
Yeah, I think the 20 of Williams was already in the wall before that contact right there with the 33.
Just 9 laps in, Zane Smith leads early at Phoenix. In just 2 weeks, the biggest sporting event in the world kicks off as Christian Pulisic leads the U.S. men's national team in the return to the World Cup stage for the first time in 8 years. It's the FIFA World Cup, and it starts November 20th on Fox and FS1. A look at the opening 3 matches for Team USA.
I'm telling you, that match versus England the day after Thanksgiving, that's going to be a football game you don't want to miss.
Did you play a lot of football in your growing up years in Kentucky, Mike?
Yeah, I kicked it around quite a lot.
Did you? Yeah, I can see you out there.
I enjoy soccer.
You're nimble of foot. Let's go downstairs and get some reports. Begin with Jamie Little.
Well, Vince, Ty Majeski shown 6th right now. Last night in practice, their one session, he was too tight overall, even though he was the fastest. So Joe Shear, his crew chief, went to work, loosened it up a bit, and that was the problem in qualifying. Well, he has his hands full. That 66, too loose in traffic. He wants some adjustments. Josh?
Well, Jamie, I told you guys off the top of the show just how frustrated Chandler Smith was qualifying 12th because he knew he had a very good truck. Well, he came over the radio a few minutes ago and said, this truck is good. It turns like a beauty. And then he wanted to know the lap times of the other 3 playoff drivers because he knows he has what it takes to catch them, Jamie.
Well, for Ben Rhodes, the big point of communication for him was trying to figure out if anybody's been able to go higher up on that racetrack, use the middle lane, make any passes. Right now, he's going to make the decision to stay low. But one of the big keys right now for his team, particularly Rich Lucius, his crew chief, is to keep him calm and chill. We've got these great onboards on the championship 4 tonight. Take a listen to what he said to him.
You can't lie to us about water temps a day. We can see it on the in-car. And 4.
Drivers stretch the truth every now and then.
Every now and then, yeah.
That truck for Rhodes, the same as he drove last year here en route to the championship. Going back green with Zane Smith out front in that 38. Lane Riggs started alongside in the front row, and then red and white 62.
Brent Lane did not get a very good start there. Look at him running down into turn 1, though, trying to make up ground. And he's going to make it work around the outside. Nice job.
Meanwhile, Corey Heim in the 51 has slipped into the 2nd spot.
Contact
save back in the field by Majeski. Remember, he's got that really loose handling truck.
Well, you see him wiggle right there inside of his teammate Christian Eckes. I think Grant Enfinger might have got into the outside wall of that 23 truck.
And I think so did Majeski. The right rear tire has the Goodyear number letters rubbed off of it. I talked earlier about how when you're on the bottom, you're looser. Watch this. He's on the bottom. He runs Enfinger up into the wall, and they make contact.
That's why Enfinger hit the wall, because he was shoved up into the outside wall by Majeski.
And that was because he just simply couldn't turn the truck to the left. He had to just give it some room off the corner not to spin out, and he ran into Enfinger.
That could have been disastrous for Majeski in his bid to win the championship.
Dropped a few spots now, being shown right now in the 10th spot, going for 9th. On the 88 at Crafton, but he's got Chandler Smith right behind him as well in the 18 truck.
On board with Majeski, looking at Matt Crafton in the 88 ahead of him. Majeski runs back in 10th. You see our championship 4 highlighted in blue. Chandler Smith right behind in the 11th spot. Majeski's been a great story. He's won 2 of the last 3 races. He's teamed up with Johnny Sauter's old crew chief, Joe Shear Jr., kind of a mad scientist, but it has worked. He and Majeski have found magic together. But right now, Majeski's struggling with the handling of that truck.
Zane Smith's crew chief, Chris Lawson, is the only crew chief calling the shots for one of these championship contenders that doesn't have a championship on his resume.
I'm impressed with the ground he's able to make, though. The lap times are still decent.
That's going to be a pretty big swing here. I can't drive it at all.
Yeah, and he's still maintaining good pace despite that. An adjustment could get him right back in the game. A lot of times a truck will tighten up some over a run, which could play into this team's hand. And also, this will be the first guy we'll watch about strategy. If we get a caution, he could come to pit road before the end of this stage and make those adjustments.
Yeah, if he gets another caution flag, probably nothing to lose. If you're going to give up your track position, you want to do it early.
One thing Majeski's just got to do is manage this truck right now. He doesn't want to get himself in a worse spot than he already is as you ride on board now with Chandler Smith, who's gotten around Majeski and is trying to work on Eckes there in the 98.
Did you see how loose he was?
I was going to say, his truck looks pretty loose too.
These guys just drive that hard every lap. You can see as loose as he was off turn 4, he goes right to the bottom and starts to work on Christian Eckes in that 98 truck.
I don't think he's been on the racetrack yet in turn 1 and 2.
Look at that dive in there. This truck's going to get loose.
Watch his hands. See him turn back to the right.
That was a bold move.
Smith obviously feels comfortable here. You heard him say that his truck was handling well. It's really turning well. This has been a great racetrack for him. 3 races here at Phoenix in the truck. 3 top 3 finishes, including that dominating win last year. Some placed him as the favorite because of those past results and what he did here last year.
He's faster right now than Eckes. You can see, despite being as loose as he is, gaining on him exiting the corner, just hadn't found the right place to make the pass.
And guys, there's a long way to go here too. Get all the way down about 2 lanes below the yellow line down here in 1 and 2.
And that's a pretty good truck he's running against right there too. In the 98 of Christian Eckes, 5 straight top 10s. He just barely missed making the championship 4 himself. So it's no pushover. He's trying to get around right there in the 98, but it looks like Smith is going to secure the spot.
And look who's driving up on the back of these two. Majeski, his truck seems to be improving.
I think we get a little air pressure in the right front. Michael burn a little bit of fuel out of the rear of the truck. Get you a little bit more nose weight. The truck could get better, and it looks like it's getting better from Majeski.
Halfway through stage 1.
He dives down into turn 3.
No pressure out front for the race leader. Zane Smith by 1.5 seconds. He's the leader. Ty Majeski, the only one that's really had some trouble come his way, but he handled it. Coming back. Stay with us.
.25 laps complete here from Phoenix, and the 38 of Zane Smith is out front. Started on the pole, has managed to make his way back out in front of the field. Zane finishing runner-up the last 2 seasons here in the championship standings. He would have every reason to be a bit hesitant heading into the weekend, but when I talked with him yesterday, he told me, I am more confident than I have ever been in my driving career. He said, I know we have the speed to get it done. I've been in this scenario before. I've learned from being there, and I know what I need to do. He said the only thing that would make him a bit concerned would be if they were in a troubling position when it came to track position. But qualifying on the pole and now leading here early on, he's exactly where he needs to be to continue that confidence. It's also worth noting that this is a relatively short race, and each of the 4 championship 4 drivers were noting that finding that track position early is going to be the key, because hanging on to it, they're not going to have to do it for long.
Back at Phoenix Raceway, welcome back. Camping World Truck Series Championship race, currently led by Zane Smith. A 1.7 second advantage and growing just a little over Corey Heim, Stuart Friesen, Lane Riggs. Ben Rhodes 5th, Chandler Smith 9th, Ty Majeski 10th are 4 championship contenders. You see they're highlighted in blue.
Michael and I have been watching the scoring monitor the last several laps. our 5 fastest trucks. Not necessarily 1 through 5th, but they're all within a 1/10 of a second of each other.
Very, very competitive. Rajah Caruth back in the 14th position. That time by ran the 5th fastest lap. That just tells you how competitive the Camping World Truck Series is.
We have had one caution already here in stage 1. Armani Williams and Keith McGee got tangled up, and both are done for the night. Williams checked and released from the infield care center after a pretty significant hit to the rear end of his truck, as you see Rajah Caruth. Good to see Rajah back in the field, making his 4th start with Bono Mannion on top of the box.
He has been impressive behind the wheel of that 7 truck as well. Those starts have really, really shown us that he can get it done behind the wheel, and right now just making steady progress.
John Hunter Nemechek trying to grab that 5th spot away from Ben Rhodes. Looks like he's going to get it. Ben's going to try to fight back on the outside. He does stay even with John Hunter.
It's been a disappointing season for Nemechek. He's won a couple of times, but certainly not the season they had a year ago in which they won 5 times and thought maybe that they were a shoe-in for the championship. Many thought that, and it didn't work out for John Hunter. And then this season, he and crew chief Eric Phillips just haven't been able to find the magic. But boy, what a meaningful win it would be if John Hunter could get it tonight.
And when you ask me, a championship guy that isn't racing for a championship that could win, I picked John Hunter Nemechek because of the speed he showed last night in that practice session. He had the fastest average on the 10-15 lap runs, and you know John Hunter Nemechek is hungry. He made a mistake at Miami, got in the wall, cost him a chance to be here racing for a championship. Race car drivers want to go show that they got what it takes to overcome a disappointing event like he had in Miami and go win here at Phoenix.
Just remember, Eric Phillips is going to step off the box. This is going to be his last race on the box.
Really, it's kind of it's an end of an era at Kyle Busch Motorsports, right? I mean, it's their final race with Toyota and that long-time relationship. I mean, KBM has won 98 times in this series, and KBM and Toyota have gone hand in hand. Kyle Busch, 56 truck wins for Toyota. 98 of Toyota's 225 truck wins have come out of the KBM garage, and if one of those KBM trucks could get it tonight, it would be special for sure.
And that one right there is fast. And oh, by the way, there's another one that's fast too, and that's the 51. He's running up in the 2nd spot as John Hunter Nemechek grabs the 4th spot from Lane Riggs.
Zane Smith there drove out to about a 2-second lead, Phil, and it's stabilized. He's running 2 seconds ahead of Corey Heim that you spoke of.
It's still early. Got a long way to go. 4 drivers contending for the title tonight at Phoenix. Great battle right around the top 5 positions with 5th, 6th, and 7th. Ben Rhodes, Lane Riggs, Grant Infinger. Welcome back. Camping World Truck Series racing from Phoenix, championship night, presented by Blue Emu. Glad to have you with us. Michael Waltrip, Phil Parsons, I'm Vince Welch, Jamie Howe, Jamie Little, and Josh Sims down on pit road. 4 to go here in stage 1.
3 of our playoff contenders in this battle right here among these 5 trucks. Ben Rhodes trying to move to the inside of Lane Riggs. You see the 66 truck of Majeski behind the 23 of Infinger, and then Chandler Smith right behind him.
Riggs has led 5 laps here in this first stage, but right now they trail Zane Smith by about 10 seconds or more.
Ben Rhodes has been impressive. We talked at the opening about him missing practice yesterday, but man, that Kubota Toyota is really rolling.
You've been waiting to get that in. I'm glad you finally slipped it in.
I'm just going to tell you, that's fun to say.
Yeah.
It's hard. Did a good job too. Did a good job with it.
It's hard to say as Matt DiBenedetto, but
just don't put them together.
Speaking of Matt, he started 11th and he's fallen back to 15th. We'll see if he can make any progress. This is hard racing, Phil.
It really is. You see Chandler Smith moves to the inside of the 62 of Lane Riggs, trying to grab a spot. Move up to the 8th position.
Final 2 laps here in stage 1. Watching Chandler Smith 8th, Lane Riggs in the red and white 62 running 9th. That's Eckes and Majeski behind them. Remember, for the championship 4, stage points don't matter, stage wins. It's just all about which of the 4 finishes ahead of the other 3. That's how the champion is determined tonight. Regardless of who wins the race, just the best finishing of the championship 4 will be crowned.
What a solid first stage for Zane Smith here.
Impressive indeed. Zane Smith makes it look easy. Once he got rid of Lane Riggs, he cruised to that stage 1 win. 9th stage win of the year for Zane, and nice little confidence builder for sure. 2 times a series runner-up is the 3rd time the charm for Zane Smith. The championship 4, Chandler Smith, Ben Rhodes, Ty Majeski, Zane Smith. Who's going to win the title tonight here in Phoenix? If stage 1 is any indicator, Zane Smith has the upper hand, dominant through that first stage. Pit stops now. Let's go to Jamie Howe.
For Ben Rhodes, he is the first stall at pit in. I asked his crew chief, Rich Lucius, why they picked that one. He said it's simple. This is where we were last year in terms of the truck in that first stage. It was really tight in the center. The exit went away, gave him a whole lot of push. They're going to make some adjustments, Josh.
The biggest problem for the 18 right now is he's lacking right rear lateral grip, so they're going to tighten the back up by making a track bar adjustment and giving him 4 tires, Jamie.
Zane Smith in the 38, 43 laps led already tonight. Said he's a little bit tight firing off, and that makes him a little free on the exit of the corner. Had a little bit of brake shake earlier, but he put the fans on and it helps, and they noted that for later in the race. 66 Ty Majeski. Hard to drive it, so loose, no grip. He had that damage. Also, he's running pretty hot. They're watching the temps about 230 right now as they went down on the track bar and 4 tires.
Well, Zane Smith lost a couple, but Ty Majeski with a bigger issue.
That's Christian Eckes.
Or excuse me, Christian Eckes.
98.
Yes.
Probably a lug nut got jammed in between the wheel and the brake caliper.
That wasn't a very clean trip to pit road for some of our championship contenders, Vince.
Well, that's for sure. We'll sort it all out when we come back to Phoenix.
A lot of talk about playoff drivers tonight, championship 4 contenders, but what about the rookie, Lane Riggs, who is leading laps here early on at Phoenix? I'm standing by with Scott Riggs, former driver, but tonight, most importantly, Lane's dad. Scott, what's going through your mind watching your son battle with championship contenders?
Well, he was a little free at the beginning. The truck fired off really well. Then after he started getting back behind some other trucks, it got a little bad for him. Started complaining about the truck getting a little tight on him, so they made some air pressure adjustments, and I'm just trying to keep my nerves under me. Real proud of Ram Jack and Infinity Communications and Career Tank Lines and everyone here at Helmar Friesen Racing. They've done a great job to give us this opportunity. It's great for him to learn what's going on and try to get some experience like he is with these guys. And I think it's going to pay off in the long run for him. It's just trying to keep my nerves in check right now.
Well, as a former driver yourself, you have wins in this series, in the Xfinity Series. How involved are you in his driving career, and have you given him any advice?
Well, we spent a lot of time. We've been the last 10 years, we've been working together on his late models. So he's really coming to his own. He knows everything about his own race car. He makes his calls on his race cars at home. So I just try to do the best I can for him. And right now, what he does behind the wheel is really impressive to me. I think he has a lot of talent, raw talent. And I think a lot of people are seeing that right now, and I'm just trying to be the proud dad.
Well, Scott, thanks for the time. Best of luck with those nerves this evening.
I'll do it. Thanks.
That's Scott Riggs, Lane Riggs' dad. Lane driving that number 62 truck, leading laps here early on tonight at Phoenix.
Beautiful shot from high above Phoenix Raceway. Welcome back, Camping World Truck Series Championship night in the Arizona desert, and it is a beautiful night indeed, but some ugly pit stops. First of all for the 99 of Rhodes, and then that right front. Watch the right front. It just takes them longer. We don't got a great view from this side, but you can just see how long it takes them.
You saw the rear tire changer come around so quick. Watch this now. Look how tight the fender is to the tire. Hard to get it off, and then also hard to get it back on. You see the rear guy again done way before the front guy.
So some track position lost. Zane Smith came in as the leader, goes out third.
What about the problems Majeski had early in that first stage? He had a great pit stop, finds himself up in the 6th position. I've been impressed with his truck and his job of driving behind the wheel. We made him the favorite, Vince. We thought he would be the guy to beat, and it didn't look good early, but he has rebounded.
A couple of KBM trucks out front to start stage 2. Corey Heim on the inside, John Hunter Nemechek outside. Everybody dives off the track, making the shortcut.
Chandler Smith looking way outside.
Zane Smith trying to poke his nose in there, now dives down to the inside, but Corey Heim continues to lead, but here comes Zane on the bottom lane.
Boy, Zane just turned that truck left and it stuck, Mike.
Big push for Heim from John Hunter. And look how fast John Hunter exits turn 4. That's a really good truck.
Chandler Smith making the move down on the bottom underneath Zane Smith for third.
That is a battle for the championship lead right there. Whichever truck is that would be our leader. Look at Zane fight back on the outside.
Yeah, Chandler couldn't quite close the door.
Truck will be a handful down here in 3 and 4 on the bottom.
And right behind the two of them, the 66 of Ty Majeski.
Had to bail out there, couldn't hold it down.
How about Ty Majeski, Michael, joining this battle as well? Gave an opportunity for Joe Shear to make some adjustments on that truck. He got him up in the top 5.
Well, you knew he would be coming because he held on to a really loose truck, had decent speed. As Zane Smith tries the bottom under Corey Heim.
I'll tell you that obviously that 38 truck proved during that first stage that it was the truck to beat. Lost a couple spots on the pit road, lost a little bit on this restart, but trying to get it back right now.
I'm just so impressed at how hard these guys drive. They're able to keep it off one another so far. They'll begin to throw caution to the wind at some point, but right now, Josh, it looks like the 18's holding a pretty wheel off turn 2.
Yeah, guys, and he is, and let me tell you, Chandler was fired up after that pit stop as he picked up 4 spots after that, and Danny Stockman came over the radio after that and said, hey, now we got to be aggressive, now we got to go get him. You have everything you need with that truck right now.
I think Danny's liking everything he's seeing from that pit box right at the moment.
And Stockman knows what a championship effort looks like. Won a championship with Austin Dillon, both in the trucks and the Xfinity Series.
We were watching out his windshield. I lost track of where Zane Smith was. That's because he took the shortcut right past the start-finish line and grabbed that 2nd spot from Corey Heim.
By the way, fans of Carson Hocevar notice their driver has slipped back, penalized for going below the yellow line on that restart, had to do a drive-through. And there he is.
Had a pretty good start to this race, but this penalty will put him a lap down.
Yeah, at least a lap down here for sure.
It's been a disappointing end of the season for Hocevar. 3 straight finishes outside the top 10, and he's going to have a tough way to go the rest of the way tonight. Good battle for third here as Chandler Smith cuts the dog leg, trying to get his teammate Corey Heim, and he gets it.
And then right behind Heim is that 66 truck we've been talking about. Ty Majeski putting the heat on the 51 truck.
It looks like Joe Shear's made some good adjustments to that Majeski truck. A lot better, a lot more pace than he had early on.
Remember, Majeski said it was so loose he could hardly drive it there in that first stage. He told Joe Shear, he said, you got to take a big swing at it when we come in, and it looks like Shear has tightened it up quite a bit. 3 of our championship 4 inside the top 5. And Ben Rhodes not far behind in 9th.
We documented the trouble on pit road for Ben Rhodes. We said very top of the show, no mistakes on the racetrack, no mistakes on pit road. It has Ben Rhodes behind right now.
We saw the issue with the 98 of Christian Eckes as we were going to commercial break. Let's get the details on that with Jamie.
Well, he was able to bring that truck back and make the call to pit lane. And the issue the team said was that something had gotten stuck between the caliper and the brake rotor, but the sway bar was undamaged, so they were able to fix that situation and send it back out. Jamie.
Zane Smith, we've been talking about about him running second right now, and he just had a calm demeanor about him today. And I said, what's the biggest difference for you this time around going for the championship? He said, I know what my future looks like. This time last year, he was literally racing for his career, didn't have any plans, no teams would answer his call. He said he put out 120 voicemails, and he got one call back, and that was Front Row Motorsports. They called him, offered him this ride, and said, you know what, we're going to double down. They're giving him next year full-time, and they're going to put him in the Cup Series part-time, including an attempt at the Daytona 500. He's in a great place with his team. They're great friends off the track, and it's showing in his performance. 3 wins together this year, and right now, the best of the 4 championship contenders.
Yeah, it's amazing what some security can do to your confidence level.
I love the fact this team has gelled like they have in such quick time.
20 laps into stage 2. Nemechek out front.
We saw that 42 of Carson Hocevar bring it down pit road, unfortunately having to serve a pass-through penalty for going below the double yellow line on that last restart. Carson's had a long day here today at Phoenix. He ran his first ARCA Menard Series West race of his career earlier on here today. He told me he's doing so because he hoped that it would give him a few more reps and, of course, a lot more track time to help figure this place out. But unfortunately for Carson, he was out of the race early, just about 10 laps in, got some pretty heavy damage to his car when he made contact with another competitor. So his whole plan of getting that extra track time and hoping to set himself up nicely for this race didn't exactly work out in his favor. Now, unfortunately, here early on in stage 2, Carson having another issue and having to serve that pass-through penalty. He's hoping to rally back to finish what's been a bit of a rough day for Carson here today at Phoenix.
Check it out Sunday on Fox. We've got a full slate of NFL action highlighted by the Seahawks and the Cardinals. And then circle this one on the calendar in a couple of weeks. Dallas and Green Bay renewing their historic rivalry. Dak leading the Cowboys against Rodgers and the Packers. Must-see showdown at Lambeau in a couple of weeks.
That's football, Vince, not football.
That's exactly right. I'm glad you clarified that.
I love
We've got the
both
World
of them.
Cup coming too. That's going to be fun. Boy, some great events coming our way here on Fox. And we've got a good one right here tonight. The Camping World Truck Series Championship. And we're about halfway through stage 2 with John Hunter Nemechek out front. Zane Smith, the stage 1 winner, is chasing.
Amazing the lap times these two drivers are running, almost mirroring each other almost every lap.
And John Hunter Nemechek in practice yesterday, very stout, especially on the long run.
Yes, he was. Got my attention. Truck looked good, too. Right around the bottom, as you can see, he's holding that line now. Last time by, Stuart Friesen back in the 5th position was our fastest truck. He likes this place, doesn't he?
He sure does. He's had so much success here. I mentioned earlier, win a couple years ago, second place last year.
You see that? Ben Rhodes shifting, Jamie.
And one of the things that Ben Rhodes, you know, he was in the top 5 that whole first stage, and now he finds himself in the 10th, even teetering with 11th position. And listening to the communication on the radio, his team, led by his spotter, Frank Diney, telling him, you need to regroup. They said, you're racing too hard, you're giving it all away. You need to work on your line in 1 and 2. You're good in 3 and 4, but put your head down, focus on what you're doing, and just regroup with the second stage.
Good stuff, Jamie, and a great pickup, Mike, as you saw Ben Rhodes shifting. Surprised to see that?
A bit. We've seen it before, but with these engines, I didn't expect to see it. They turned less RPM, but you can see both. Listen to that.
I'm a little surprised because the pace hasn't slowed down that much. If they slow down a second and a half or something like that, maybe, but I'm really surprised that they are able to shift.
And how about that report from Jamie with the team telling Ben to kind of settle down, you're going too hard. Why as a driver do you fall into that mode?
Well, if you get in too deep, you're not going to be able to get the center of the corner right. And in Phoenix, the exit of these corners is so important. Long, sweeping turn off 2 here, and you really need to be able to get the gas down early. So far, from looking at the lap times, this shifting isn't paying off. I don't see any pickup in his lap times, and it's very taxing on the engine. Also hard to drive one-handed on exit, trying to get that power down.
Yeah, as well as the transmission. There's no transmission cooler built into these transmissions for these trucks.
There's the battle up front. Zane Smith, you're riding on board with him, and that's the race leader, John Hunter Nemechek, just in front of him. But Zane has really cut into John Hunter's lead. It was about 7/10 at its largest spot, and now it is down to about 4/10.
It's getting ready to go down a lot.
Yeah,
look, traffic in
look
front
at all
of
the traffic. John Hunter said, well, you guys stay on the racetrack, and I'll just use this other part down here.
Oh, John Hunter gets cut off.
Wasn't able to actually get by anybody.
Yeah, has to get out of the gas, and Zane is right on his bumper. That was Jack Wood in the green and white 24 that got down in front of John Hunter and cut his momentum. And here comes Zane challenging for the lead now.
Zane had a really nice run off 4 with John Hunter dealing with that traffic. Still more trucks ahead to deal with.
Dean Thompson in the 40. In that blue truck, blue and white.
Side by side for the lead here.
3 wide for the lead for a second with Chris Hacker up on the outside in the 43. He goes a lap down.
Nemechek able to hold off Zane for the moment, but they are side by side for the lead.
Zane may be able to use this 40 truck for a pick if he needs to.
Go on board here with Zane. Hear that he is not shifting. We've been looking at all the inboards. Nobody's shifting except for Ben Rhodes right now.
10 to go in stage 2. Nemechek holding on.
Oh, a little bit loose for John Hunter, as you saw Zane pulling up on him a bit.
I just love the options these drivers have, especially down there in 1 and 2. They can pull down 1 lane below the yellow line, or maybe 2 or 3 lanes below the yellow line.
Going to keep it side by side for you. You will not miss a lap as we're closing in on the finish of stage 2 with John Hunter Nemechek out front. Less than 5 to go in stage 2 here at Phoenix. The championship race for the Camping World Truck Series as Zane Smith pulls up alongside of John Hunter Nemechek in a battle for the lead.
Hey,
It's Austin Wayne South, the lap truck just ahead of him.
Zane Smith's truck is so good down in 1 and 2. Man.
He's looking to do what that other Smith boy did a year ago, sweep both stages and then take the race. And he's got his work cut out for him. John Hunter, really strong also. These two sizing each other up. Just 3 laps to go in the second stage. Look how tight he's able to keep it. Phil off the corner, really drive down low. And John Hunter's going to come chase him.
And you may say, why is he trying so hard here? Obviously, stage points don't matter, but he gets to pit. Whoever's leading gets to pit road first, and that may enable him to get off pit road first and have the choose first.
His first stop wasn't that smooth. We saw trouble on the right front because of how tight the fender was to the tire. That has to make the pit crew wonder about what's going to happen this time.
And I think we'll see the same thing. I don't see how that's going to fix itself as they go side by side.
Just a couple of laps left here in stage 2, continuing to battle for the lead. Zane Smith, one of our championship 4 in that orange and white 38. John Hunter Nemechek,
He's got him.
just fighting for the win.
Got him. And that's Haley Deegan in that one truck just ahead of him, trying to stay on the lead lap. Needs to get around a couple of times here to keep from going a lap down. It's not going to happen as Zane just rips the bottom.
That's going to cost Carson Hocevar the free pass. Haley now is in position to get that free pass.
Boy, that Zane Smith truck, so good. He's led 46 laps tonight, won stage 1, and it certainly has been the best of the championship 4 up to this point.
Looking for that green and white checker flag on turn 4.
2 stages in the books, and Zane Smith has won them both. He won the pole earlier this afternoon, and he has taken care of business in stage 1 and stage 2. And the last time he swept both stages, he also happened to win the race back at Circuit of the Americas.
Get me out in front of him.
Already thinking about that pit stop you talked about, Phil. Get me out in front of him. That was a lot of work for Zane Smith to get that stage win.
The championship trophy at stake, and Zane Smith has been the class of the field so far. Can Chandler Smith, Ty Majeski, Ben Rhodes, can they give Zane a run in the final stage? Zane Smith has led more than half the laps. He's won stage 1 and he's won stage 2. Getting ready for pit stops here at the end of this second stage. Camping World Truck Series Championship race presented by Blue Emu. Here's the times on the first round of pit stops. Chandler Smith the fastest, and we saw Rhodes and Zane Smith with some right front issues on their previous stops. Let's see if they're a little smoother this time. Jamie Howe?
And Ben Rhodes already in the box. His biggest complaint was that he cannot get to the bottom of the track. He said there's just too much push through the center. His entry is good, but because of that, he can't make a pass, Josh.
The 18 of Chandler Smith is saying that he needs more right rear grip. He said at the end of stage 1, also lacking some front turn. Danny Stockman says we tighten up the back and should fix it all. Jamie?
Zane Smith's so happy with this truck right now. I just asked his crew chief, Chris Lawson, do you do anything? He said, yes, air pressure. We got to stay ahead of it. Be good at the end of the long run to make it to the end. A long stop on the left front for Zane Smith. They got it done. The 66 at Ty Majeski, they went too far on that first stop. Now he's tightened up. He didn't move much in that last run. Air pressure here to help him out.
Well, you heard Zane Smith tell his crew over the radio just before this stop, just get me out front. Well, it didn't work out that way. They lost 3 spots. Nemechek out front again when we return for the final stage.
In the 99 pit with the crew chief, Rich Lushes. Rich finished 10th there in the second stage. What are you telling Ben here to start stage 3?
We had to work on the truck. We weren't very good there in that stage, so we just worked on trying to make it a little bit better, and there's only 55 laps to go, so it's all up to him now. So.
What adjustments did you make there on pit road?
We were way tight, so we just freed it up a bunch. See what we got.
Any complaints from the driver?
There's always complaints from the driver.
That's Rich Lushes, crew chief on the 99 of Ben Rhodes.
Changed her look over the years, but she's still a beauty. Not many have meant more than it does this evening. Start your engine! Time to settle it, and here we go. The season has come down to this night.
For the first time in this race, Zane Smith is not the leader of the championship 4. That honor belongs to Chandler Smith. Another slow pit stop for the 38. How about the 99 of Ben Rhodes, Jamie Howe?
Well, that was a much better pit stop, moved him up to that 6th position. But during the caution period, his crew chief, Rich Lucius, broached a subject that you guys were talking about. That was the shifting that he was doing behind the wheel. Take a listen to this.
So I haven't noticed anybody else in front of us shifting here. Tell you that I was going as hard as I possibly could that last run, for what that's worth. Copy, just wanted to let you know what we're learning here.
Always communicating what they're seeing on the box and on the roof in regards to what the driver is doing in the seat. Final stage underway. Nemechek on the outside, Chandler Smith on the inside.
Look at them stacked up.
Another KBM truck, and that 51 of Corey Hine right there as well, and around goes Eckes. The caution is out. It's been a tough night for Christian Eckes in that 98 cam.
Talked earlier, Vince, about how these restarts are so crazy, and they're just going to get crazier. People start pushing harder and harder.
Really curious to see where these guys were running when the caution flag was displayed on the previous loop. Because they were about 6 wide over there in turn 1.
Hang on, Duggar.
Oh, wow.
Country music sensation Tim Duggar on the back there, and he's getting ready to be turned loose, I'm afraid.
Christian better get to pit road and get him secured.
Get Tim taped down.
Eckes back there in about the 12th spot there. You see right in the middle of the...
The 16 of Ankrum got into him. Again, they were 6 wide, fighting for space.
It's hard to blame that on Ankrum.
It is.
I mean, it's just a product of these restarts and how wide this track is and how aggressive these truck drivers are.
It's amazing nobody else got caught up in it as tight as they're running here. Take a look at this right here. There's the contact. Gets in the back of Stuart Friesen for just a second. Jack Wood does get into the outside wall trying to avoid the 91 of Colby Howard.
Just past the 100 lap mark and under caution for the damaged truck of Christian Eckes. Chandler Smith, the leader.
Caution is out, which means we're getting ready to set up another restart here at Phoenix. And if anybody's watched a race at Phoenix, we already knew coming into today that restarts were going to get wild. So much so that drivers were preparing specifically for how to take advantage of restarts here during this race. I caught up with the defending champion Ben Rhodes at Media Day 2 days ago. Let's get in the mindset of a driver approaching that restart zone here at Phoenix Raceway.
Well, the biggest thing is you have to decide inside or outside here. And you don't know which line is going to take off better based on who's in front of you. I mean, that makes a big difference. The initial launch at Phoenix is so important. I would say more important than most racetracks, because at most racetracks, people will tend to follow you and push you until a certain point. Well, our restart zone here is super close to the actual start-finish line. So the launch is super important, and as soon as you launch, you can pull out. You don't actually have to push the person in front of you. So who you're around is very important. The lane choice on inside or outside for getting, shortcutting the track is very important. Or if you're going to try to rip the top in 1 and 2 to get a good, launch down the backstretch. And this year, especially, they're taking away that resin that they put in the top groove. So I'm going to say that people are going to tend to want the bottom. I don't know that the top will be as dominant as it has been in years past.
I was homeless, and US Vet put my life back on the right track. They got me everything needed for a home, and they help you not only get off the street, they help you to start living a real life. We come here together, we leave here together. We're all family.
And that's why we at Fox Sports are making camo our cause this Veterans Day in support of the Honor U.S. Vets campaign. So post wearing your camo on social with hashtag Honor U.S. Vets and visit usvets.org/FoxForward to donate and learn how you can help end veteran homelessness.
Thank you to all the veterans serving this great country of ours. Beautiful scene here in Phoenix. Beautiful night, Vince.
It is indeed, and less than 50 to go to determine our champion. Under caution with the Christian Eckes issue. Got some contact and into the wall. It's probably going to put an end to Eckes' streak of 5 straight top 10s as you see the damage being done or being repaired, trying to be repaired. They look like they got Tim Duggar taped down there on the back hood.
I was worried about Tim.
Me and you both, Phil. There's the Kubota Toyota.
We talked about pit stops, and here's the times on those last stops. Rhodes with the quickest of the bunch. Zane Smith lost 3 positions, and you see why.
Remember, Ben Rhodes was the slowest stop the first go round and the fastest stop this time. Okay, the KBM guys have been on it. You see Chandler Smith's pit stop of 16.6. Obviously, Nemechek, Corey Himes also fast as well because they came off pit road 1, 2, 3.
Carson Hocevar, by the way, with that caution, getting the free pass. Here's the most recent stop on that.
Yeah, check this out, Vince. Remember how much trouble they had on the right front? This time, they were able to adapt and adjust. They knew it was going to be tight, so you can see the tire changer really dug in there and got that tire out and back on. The first time, they didn't expect that, and so it was a delay. This time, they just knocked it out of the park.
15 seconds is a great pit stop for a truck, too.
They just mowed down the competition there.
And speaking of pit stops, how about this 18 of Chandler Smith in the radio?
Hey, crew, you guys are f***ing on it tonight. Thank you. Hell yeah.
All right, it's time now, buddy. Time to get our head on straight. Time to get focused here.
Head on straight.
Danny Stockman, the crew chief.
Laps are winding down.
And they go by quick on this mile track, right? And you're out front with a chance to win the championship. You got a truck that you believe is fast enough to get the job done. They've tweaked on it. They've worked on it. This is the truck that Chandler Smith won this race with a year ago. Also won it a couple of times. 2 of his 3 wins this season came in this truck at Las Vegas and then most recently at Richmond.
He has some friendly faces around him, too. John Hunter Nemechek, teammate beside him. Right behind him, Corey Heim, another teammate. The 38 of Zane. I don't think that's a friendly face.
I was going to, do the teammates make it friendlier, or is that friendly fire?
It depends. It depends.
At Miami, it didn't look like teammates knew they were teammates with some of the racing we saw, and I don't see it much in the truck series. These guys are going to be aggressive. They're all out to just get the victory.
Chandler Smith on the bottom. John Hunter Nemechek outside on the restart. Zane Smith and Ben Rhodes right there in the mix, and Rajah Caruth is around this time. Taylor Gray in the 17 truck involved.
We talked about it from the beginning, Vince. Every lap that goes by, they just get more and more aggressive, and it doesn't surprise me at all they wreck. I mean, they're out of control approaching turn 1, and Rajah caught the short end of that deal.
It's a law of averages. You know, you're 6 wide going in that corner there just after a restart. I'm surprised we don't see it more often. Taylor Gray has made his way up into the top 10 with another solid run going, and you see the damage to that truck.
Teams do have a couple of sets of tires sitting in their pit boxes, but they don't need gas. I mean, they've got enough gas to go to the end.
Yeah,
so,
and I don't think they need tires yet either. There hadn't been that many laps of green flag.
Yeah, I agree. I think we need to go at least another 20 laps or so of green flag laps. Watch Stuart Freeze in the 52 truck circled right there. That's the 17 of Taylor Gray right in front of him. Let's see if they make contact getting down in this corner.
Oh, it looked like
it may have
maybe
been Lane Riggs.
Lane
Yeah.
Riggs
62,
caught him, and
yeah.
that in turn got Rajah Caruth around in that 7 truck. Was doing an awesome job again.
Stewart was close, but I don't think he made it. He might have made a little contact, but I don't think he was the cause of the incident.
Well, look how close the 66 and 99 and 38 were to all that. They were all three just ahead of that contact.
And I don't think Riggs knew they had lost their momentum necessarily soon enough to avoid running into the back of the 17.
Yeah, the 17 obviously slowed dramatically there.
Riggs with a lot of damage.
Tough break for all these competitors. Rajah was having a great run just outside the top 10, or worked his way possibly into the top 10.
And 3 drivers I think you're going to hear a lot more about in the Truck Series in the coming years. Lane Riggs has been impressive in limited starts. This is just his 3rd career start. And Taylor Gray going to run full time next season. And of course Rajah Caruth. He's got a bright future ahead of all 3 of them.
Yeah, Rajah will be racing tomorrow for Team Alpha Prime, Tommy Joe Martin's team.
We had 1 caution for incident in the first 99 laps, and we've had 2 in the next 7, and that just goes to show you cautions breed cautions, and then when you're going 6 wide, you're more likely to have one as well.
They're going to give up Ghost here for the 7 truck.
Like that truck doesn't run full time, but it always shows up with some speed when it does.
Well, and Bono Mannion is the reason for that. Prepares a very nice machine, always has, and Rajah and all those drivers that have driven the 7 this season have had speed.
Mike Ricci over there as well, who's the architect of Shiggy Hattori's team that has been so fast for the last 4 or 5 years here in the Truck Series Championship with Brett Moffitt.
I don't believe we're going to see any activity on pit road. I mean, the 4 competitors for this championship are really close.
Well, we've got a caution. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back to Phoenix. Getting ready to go back green here in the final stage of the Camping World Truck Series championship race. John Hunter Nemechek restarting on the inside, and championship contender Chandler Smith on the outside of the front row. The 4 championship contenders all in the top 7.
Watch Zane Smith. He's going to have the option of dropping really low here from the inside behind Nemechek.
Zane Smith and Ben Rhodes right behind Nemechek on the inside.
And he's going to get there, Phil. Now if they can all make it. Let's make
3 wide for the lead. Zane on the bottom. Chandler up top, Nemechek in the middle.
What a great move by Zane Smith. Chandler's fighting back though.
Chandler Smith crossing over, challenging for the lead, but Zane Smith's going to hold on.
What a restart for Zane Smith. That's just textbook there. Took advantage of that low lane.
We know that 38 truck likes that clean air as much of this race that he's led. But Chandler Smith's not giving up.
Chandler knew it too. He said saying on his radio, we can't let the 38 have clean air, and he has it right now.
2 championship contenders out front. Zane Smith, 3-time winner this season. Chandler Smith, a 3-time winner. Both seeking their first NASCAR championship.
And both driving as hard as they can right now.
For those of you looking for Stuart Friesen, he got penalized for the restart before this for dropping out of line below the yellow line at the start-finish line. He got penalized to the back of the field. He's made his way back up to the 16th spot.
Yeah, you have to stay in line until you cross that start-finish line on a restart. And Friesen had gotten out of line.
Here comes John Hunter looking on the inside of Chandler Smith.
Pressuring his teammate.
Look at that response from Chandler when he got pressure. Just fired off turn 2.
That's Grant Infinger in the yellow truck, 4th in line, and then right behind Infinger is Ty Majeski, and Ben Rhodes is on Majeski's bumper.
Zane has not been able to drive away from Chandler Smith. We've watched him pull out to a couple-second lead in both stages. Not this time, though. Chandler's right there.
Looks like maybe Chandler's a little tight. He keeps being just a little bit to the right, to the outside of that 38 truck in the corner.
But I think he was free earlier. I think Danny Stockman is trying to tune that truck up a little bit, give him a little more security.
Chandler Smith, that 18 truck, will race in the Xfinity Series for Kaulig Racing next season.
Look who's coming. Tom Majeski down to the inside of Grant Infinger, trying to join this battle for the lead.
Majeski hasn't quite had the handle on his truck. Was super loose in that first stage. Got a little bit of a hole. Just haven't been able to get up there to challenge for the lead yet tonight. He's working on Infinger, trying to get that 4th spot.
Good pace right now. Faster than Infinger, just can't get there yet.
And a little further back behind Majeski, about a half-second back, is Ben Rhodes.
Putting our 4 championship drivers up in the top 6. This is what you hope for in a championship battle like this. Have the guys go toe-to-toe, and that's what's going to happen tonight.
Zane's opened it up to a little bit more than a half a second. This truck gets better and better the longer they run.
Yeah, he was a couple of tenths better lap before than Chandler. Really important part of the track right here. You want to get to the bottom, try to get that left front down lower than the truck you're trying to pass. Get a little bit of air on that nose, downforce, and then get to the throttle. Maybe try swinging wide 1 and 2. I haven't seen this work a lot tonight, but it looks like nice momentum off.
I think Majeski tried it down there the same line as Grant for 3 or 4 laps. Said, let me try something different.
I think he's thinking the bumper might be an option too. Look how close he is. Can he get there? Oh, so close.
You heard him pedal the throttle a little bit to keep from running in to Grant Infinger, I think.
I think he might have to bump him a little bit. Lost a lot of ground there with that dive bomb that didn't work.
Losing touch with our leader right now, about 2.5 seconds behind.
That's going to be difficult to make up on this truck. He has been solid all night long. But
Chris Lawson, the crew chief there, second one in on the right in the beard. The only one of the 4 championship contending crew chiefs who does not already have a NASCAR championship. It's the first year that Lawson and Zane Smith have been paired together, and they have hit it off, not just on track, but off track. They've become very good friends, and that's one of the things that Zane Smith says has made it most enjoyable. That team is super close away from the track, makes it all the sweeter.
Can we go back? This is the moment. Tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over. So we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us. Can we go back? This is the moment. Tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over. So we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us.
This is indeed the night the champion is crowned for the Camping World Truck Series. Zane Smith out front as we look at our Blue Emu race summary. Smith won stage 1 and stage 2, has led the most laps tonight and has a lead of almost 1 second over championship contender Chandler Smith.
His last time by, Vince, he ran a 27.83. The fastest lap of the race was turned early by Lane Riggs at a 27.05. So not quite a second of fall off, but Phil, I believe if the caution comes out, these crew chiefs are going to have a decision to make. As we're coming to the Camping World 20 to go, do you pit or not if we get a caution here late?
And we still have 22 trucks on the lead lap too. You sure don't want to be the only guy to come to pit road.
Starting to get into lap traffic. Johnny Sauter, that 0-2.
Majeski just cannot get around the 23 of Infinger, and it's costing him, Jamie.
Uh-oh, shifting.
That's exactly what they've been talking about on the radio, Vince, with Ty Majeski. You know, they've been on both ends of it. They were super loose early. They adjusted, went too far to the tight side, and now he just cannot shake Grant Enfinger. They told him, you're as fast as the leaders. You just got to get around the 23.
What do?
You got to bump him a little bit. It's becoming acceptable these days. And look what he did to his tires there. That'll make him angry when he gets loose like that.
Yeah, they have a memory, don't they, these tires?
A little bit of a bump there.
Hey, guy. It's all good. Boom, next time. Dude, I'm trying.
Dude, I'm trying. That means he's trying to bump it. Look at that. Look how tight they are. I think he's got the move, the momentum. Can't quite get there. There it is.
Grant's going to fight back, though.
And a lot of time was lost. When you're talking about clicking around here in 28 seconds or less, and you have to spend multiple laps trying to get around a driver that's holding you up and keeping you from challenging the race leaders, then that's super costly. But Haley Deegan is into the wall, and that's going to bring out the caution. And now it's that crew chief decision you guys were talking about.
They had creeped up into the 28s, Vince, the last couple of laps. 28.05 was the lap.
Remember, at the top of the show, we had a green-white checker shootout. Sheldon Creed went from 9th to the win in about a lap.
That's heavy.
So under those in that circumstance, you're coming, right? It was 15 to go?
Yeah, I'm coming.
I think so. I think I'm coming.
I learned something from my friend Steve Letarte on TV. You say, I think I would come. Don't say they will. Because then you subject yourself to be wrong. But I believe I would pit.
I think I would be too. And obviously, Chris Lawson is the guy that has a tough decision. He comes to pit road, then some of those other guys are just going to do something different because obviously he has the strongest truck all night long, and they don't feel like they can beat him uneven.
But he hasn't had the strongest pit crew all night long. Losing positions on pit road, big decisions.
Lawson down off the box, giving his guys pep talk there, yeah. Indicator in my book that they're coming.
Will be.
See if we can get a replay on what happened with Haley Deegan.
Cut a left front, looks like. So there's some damage to the left front. She must have had contact prior to this.
Yeah, the Goodyear letters are rubbed off that tire, so obviously had contact with somebody, but pretty significant contact with the outside safer barrier. She's able to continue driving the truck around. So.
Frustrating finish to the season for Haley Deegan.
Yeah, that's terminal damage to that.
Take that to the garage.
One truck.
And her night will be finished. Her last start with that team is that group will switch to Toyota and be Tricon Garage next year. It's Chris Lawson.
Pit when it's open here, Josh.
There you have it. Pit when it's open. I think you're going to see everybody do that. Then it's going to be a battle of the pit crews. The money stop, Phil. You talked about it in the pre-race. This is the one that counts.
Well, Phil, you talked about the execution that these teams were going to need. You don't beat yourself. You don't want a penalty on pit road. You don't want to speed. And the crew chiefs got to make the call at the right time. I think it's probably a no-brainer at this point for this particular decision. But those guys that go over the wall, I mean, that's where you really come to understand what a team sport it is.
The guy that wins the battle off pit road might just win a championship because of it.
North pit, no fuel, no fuel, no fuel.
Who's going to step up and deliver on pit road? It's a long line coming down, and we're going to begin with Jamie Howe.
And it will be Ben Rhodes making his first call to pit lane. Slide it in just a little bit, but he told the guys we needed exactly what we had last time. It was a 15-second pit stop. He still wasn't happy with the truck. He said he was just plowing through the center, Josh.
Yeah, the problem for the 18 is trying to track down the 38. He said he just needs more drive off. He's going to be able to catch him, so they'll try and help him out right here on this pit stop.
Remember last time Zane Smith pitted, they had a long stop. He lost 3 positions. A lot of talking and cheering with the team. Come on, guys, we've got this. Let's be as good as we've been earlier in the race. Meanwhile, the 66-time Majeski, his pit crew has been flawless. Won him the race 2 weeks ago. Tonight, doing it again. They just need some clean air and the right adjustments, as you see Ben Rhodes. big gain there, Vince.
Well, Rhodes, the only one of the championship 4 who took right side only. The other 3 took 4 tires.
Yeah, but look, the good news is all the trucks that are lined up behind Ben Rhodes with 2 tires as well. That gives him a bit of a gap back to Chandler Smith. Could that be enough to get Ben Rhodes to victory lane? It'll certainly get him the lead and could drive away from these guys.
I think it was a great call by Rich Lucius because he has not had the speed to compete with those other guys. If he does the same thing they do, I don't think you can realistically expect a different outcome.
You know, and that's what he was hoping for, just what happened. He was going to get 2. He knew that was his only plate, like you said, Phil, his only chance to win this race. Then he just prayed that others would get 2 behind him so that he would have that gap. I think a couple of trucks might have stayed out. I saw Carson.
Everybody, it's all on you here.
It looked like Stuart Friesen may have stayed out for sure. Maybe Carson Hocevar as well.
Yeah, I believe so.
You heard Rich Lucius tell Ben Rhodes, okay, buddy, it's all on you now.
That's exactly right, Phil. Friesen and Hocevar will lock down that front row. I think Ben Rhodes will pick the bottom on the inside to try to open it up to the bottom.
Ben Rhodes trying to become the first repeat champion in the Truck Series since Matt Crafton back in 13 and 14. The first 2 of Crafton's 3 titles. More on the 99 with Rhodes and Jamie Howe.
The other thing that they've adjusted now is the communication that Ben is getting over the radio. He said, I no longer want to hear my lap times. It doesn't matter anymore. The only thing I want you to tell me is the gap to the guy behind me. I don't want any other information, no other chatter.
Needs to be focused, no distractions. You see those 2 tires and just 8.4 seconds on pit road, while Chandler Smith, Ty Majeski, Zane Smith all took 4.
I'm going to tell you who's had a lot of pace. We saw him get a penalty for a restart violation, Stuart Friesen. He was able to drive all the way up to the top 10 after that penalty. There's the one to go. He'll take the bottom.
But is he going to be a sitting duck with all those tires behind him? Obviously, Hocevar is on the same strategy. They both pitted back on lap number 94, but there are a lot of fresh tires behind these 2 guys, Mike.
Rhodes will start on the inside of row 2.
I like that call, Ben Rhodes. You know those right side tires should get a little bit more grip possibly than Stuart Friesen, and he can jump to the inside.
Well, and you made the point, and Mike said it, you know, Rhodes hasn't had the pace that the other 3 have had. He had to do something different or he was not going to be in position to even have a shot at winning.
And what about Rich Lucius? All year long, he's been a bandit on that pit box, making crazy calls that have worked out for him. What if that's how they won the championship, with another great Rich Lucius call in that Kubota Toyota?
When they take the green flag, there will be 10 laps to go.
Who are you going to put in the catbird seat, Phil?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
It's your job to know.
Yeah, I know. I just don't know.
Stuart Friesen has won here before. Carson Hocevar on the outside of the front row has never won in the series. Ben Rhodes trying to go back to back.
And Rhodes jumped down to the apron of the racetrack. 2 tires don't seem to really do anything for me yet.
Friesen still holding off Rhodes. Rhodes slips into that 2nd spot in front of Hocevar, but Friesen is out front. And here comes 4 wide with Zane Smith on the inside.
They all hang on to it.
Zane was able to get by Chandler Smith, at least for the moment.
Chandler's charging back up the middle.
For the lead, Ben Rhodes pressuring Stuart Friesen.
He needs to clear Friesen, Phil. If he can get around Friesen with those tires, I
look at Majeski. But look at Majeski right here.
Into the picture in 3rd, right behind Rhodes, and Majeski has the 4 tires.
How about Zane Smith now up in the 4th spot with those 4 fresh tires? And he's coming.
Majeski had to back out just a little bit. The 4 championship contenders all run right behind Stuart Friesen. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th.
What a job Stuart Friesen's been doing on these older tires.
Rhodes trying to hold off Majeski and at the same time get enough speed built up to pass Stuart Friesen.
Our championship 4 running 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th right now.
Good run off forward for Rhodes. You can see he's going to get on the inside of Friesen. And I know he's going to hug this bottom and try to clear Stewart.
Friesen pushing up and Rhodes on the inside trying to squeeze him out of position.
He's got it.
Rhodes to the lead.
Look, here comes Zane. He got by Majeski's going after Friesen now, and he's going to clear him.
Zane Smith in second, and Majeski pressuring Friesen for third with Chandler Smith right there. All four of the championship contenders right in the mix.
If Zane Smith wins this race, it's that 4-wide move into turn 3 that's going to be the key to it. He couldn't wait around. He went for it and made it work.
Rhodes holding off Zane Smith, coming to 5 to go with a championship on the line.
How about our championship 4, guys? First, second, third, fourth right now.
Just the way it ought to be. They're going to settle it at the front.
Ben Rhodes is doing a great job.
Rhodes took 2 tires on that last stop to get out in position to take this lead. Zane Smith, Ty Majeski, Chandler Smith all got 4 tires. But right now, Rhodes is able to hold them off. But for how long?
Zane's going to take the shortcut.
He got there too. But Ben dives hard into turn 1. And look, here comes Chandler and Majeski. Majeski's all over. Oh, there's
sideways. Majeski's going to go around. And the caution is out. Oh, heartbreaking for Ty Majeski.
And I think maybe for Ben Rhodes as well. I don't think Ben Rhodes wanted another restart, Michael.
Sorry, guys. I was going for it.
Majeski was there leaning, but leaned a little too hard. And the Cinderella season is going to come to a close without a championship for Ty Majeski.
Man, Majeski was heating up Zane, and I believe that was going to give Ben Rhodes enough gap to get away. Watch this, Ben had driven a pretty good spot, and if Majeski just hangs on to it, I don't know, they get all the way up to Ben. But around he goes, and we're going to re-rack it and try it again.
It'll be overtime.
Nice job by Chandler to get to the bottom.
And for Zane, obviously with a contact to keep that truck going straight. Right there.
Watch it from Majeski's view.
Just going for it, giving it all he had.
Oh, what a horrible feeling when you realize it's broken loose on you.
No doubt.
You're not going to be able to save it. Majeski came into this race having won 2 of the last 3. Really had the momentum going. Many considered him to be a championship favorite.
As Benson, didn't look like Zane had the pace through that corner that allowed Majeski to catch up to him.
That was exactly what Ben Rhodes wanted to see in his mirror until that truck went around. You remember, Zane Smith is running second. That's where he's finished in the championship the last 2 years.
Radio from the 99 of Rhodes.
We're in a lose-lose situation on pittings, but man, I don't know if I can hold these guys off. Driving as hard as I can right there.
That's what
well,
you're
the
supposed to do.
retaliation to that from the team was, yes, you can. You've been doing it. The radio very quickly went silent from Ben Rhodes' side of it. Remember, he switched up his mindset coming in to the season and throughout the season. He's now racing smarter. He's understanding the whole situation before he makes the moves. That's what we've seen him do all night. He's taking note of what's going on around him, what he's seeing from the other trucks, and he's trying to adjust.
The bottom line, the place you want to be, right?
Yes.
So, but what about Zane Smith? Does he start alongside Rhodes there on the front row?
I think so. We've seen that consistently. But does that make Chandler Smith in the best position? Because he's going to pull up right behind Ben Rhodes with those 4 tires, and he can also lay back maybe a quarter, half a truck length to get that launch that he's going to need to get to the bottom.
I'll be surprised if we're not 3 wide for the lead of this race down in turns 1 and 2.
And it'll be amongst the 3 championship contenders that are still in the mix. Majeski, you saw back on pit road. getting some damage fixed. Look at this. Wow.
Look at Zane.
5 wide.
They were 5 wide, and Zane bouncing off of other trucks makes that pass. That was the key for him to be up there trying to win this race.
Yeah, that was he and Chandler Smith right next to one another, so that could have been disastrous for both of them, and instead now they find themselves with a shot at winning the championship. It is NASCAR overtime, and if you're not familiar with the rules, we're going to take the green flag, and it's basically a 2-lap shootout. If the leader comes back around to get the white, then the next flag, whether that's the yellow or the checkers, would end the race. But if the leader does not take the white before the caution comes out, we'll re-rack them and do it again.
There's no guarantee that we're going to get to the white flag without another caution flag.
It could be NASCAR double overtime.
Just the way the championship race ought to come down, right? It's a shootout at the finish amongst the championship contenders.
I think the pit calls during the course of this season that 99 team of Ben Rhodes have made, crew chief Rich Lucius, there he sits on the pit. But I think those calls all season long is the reason why Ben's even in this position. They took chances, they got stage points, they did things out of the box, things that other competitors didn't do. He did it again tonight. The only one of our championship 4 to take 2 tires, and he can taste victory if he can just get back around this track 2 times.
And oh, by the way, the reason he made the championship 4, 1 point over Stewart Friesen, by 1 point.
Always just seems to find a way, doesn't he? Here they come to the choose. Rhodes takes the bottom. Oh, Zane takes the bottom as well. Chandler Smith will go to the top.
That threw Chandler a curveball. He's like, I'm going right in behind Ben Rhodes, and he had to quickly go to the top. That was a great move by Chandler to get there. Zane feels like that he can get to the bottom. If I'm Ben Rhodes, I'm not going to let anybody under me. I got to get there faster than he does.
Maybe Tom Majeski's in a pretty good spot back there in 20th. Because these 3 guys...
Buddy, you got this. All right, get her done.
Get her done.
Ben Rhodes in that 99, as mentioned, last year's series champ, trying to go back-to-back. Chandler Smith on the outside of row 1, trying to win his first championship. He'll drive for Colleague next year in the Xfinity Series. Zane Smith on the inside of row 2. Runner-up in the championship each of the last 2 years.
I feel like I'm at Talladega doing the broadcast. You know how nervous I always get and wonder what's going to happen? I don't know how these drivers are handling the teams, but I am a nervous wreck here to see who's able to pull this off.
The championship on the line. Rhodes, Chandler Smith, Zane Smith. The green is out. NASCAR overtime for the title.
There goes Zane.
He got there first.
Zane Smith on the inside, Rhodes getting squeezed in the middle, and Chandler Smith on the outside. Zane Smith's got the lead, Chandler trying to cross over.
Chandler's gonna get there, Vince.
Side by side, Chandler Smith and that 18 truck down to the bottom.
He's gonna slide up, and this could open the door for Rhodes.
Rhodes coming, and the white flag is out. The final lap, throw a blanket over the 3 for the championship. Zane Smith has got it, but Chandler Smith on the inside taking a look. That's Rhodes on the outside. Down the backstretch, Zane Smith. The runner-up each of the last 2 years. Can Rhodes get to the bumper and move him? Zane Smith is winning it, and he has done it. The championship goes to Zane Smith.
Oh, man. How good is that? Wow. Is it Saturday yet?
What a finish. What a finish. Crew Chief Chris Lawson did not hesitate. Brought him down pit road at lap 137. There he is right there. Put 4 tires on that truck.
A year ago, after this race, he didn't even know if he'd have a job. Didn't have a job. Had no idea where he'd be racing in 2022, and this was the team that gave him a chance, and he has delivered.
What about a dream season, Vince? Win Daytona to start the season, head to Phoenix, win it to win the championship.
In style.
Yes.
What a way to reward Bob Jenkins and Front Row Motorsports.
On your right, buddy. Good job. Good job, Josh.
23 years old from Huntington Beach, California. Had some friends and family from the coast here to see him race, and what a show they saw tonight.
It's been said all week, maybe 3 times is the charm. 3rd time in the championship 4, runner-up the first 2 times. He's right.
Jamie Little is with Chris Lawson, the winning crew chief.
And the winning crew chief, Chris, getting hugs all around. And Chris, I watched you through this whole race. You were up and down this pit box about 10 times. What are the emotions like right now? Your first appearance, and now you're a champion.
I really don't even know what to say. It's that's all Zane right there. I mean, we put tires on and let him do what Zane does, and that's what he did. So it's just awesome. It's amazing for this team, for Bob Jenkins, MRC, Speedco, Loves, everybody that supported this team all year, that believed in this kid, believed in Bob Jenkins. I mean, it's just great.
A lot of love throughout this team. Get out there and go celebrate with your guys.
Thank you.
You know, Zane Smith said when asked about what's different this time, the 3rd time versus the first 2 years, and he said he's just had more fun this year, and for that reason he feels more comfortable, more loose. And well, I'll tell you what, can't have any more fun than this scene right here, can you?
Hell yeah! Oh, Will, man. You are Will, man.
Championship runner-up in back-to-back years, and the 3rd time is the charm for Zane Smith.
I love you, kid.
Josh Sims is down with the winner.
Fuck yeah, buddy. Fuck yeah. We finally got one together, baby. You are fucking
Zane Smith is a champion as he celebrates with the team. And we saw last year, Zane, we were here with you as you finished runner-up another time as he continues to celebrate with his fiance right now. But Zane, I interviewed you last year. You sat there, you looked up in the stands, you talked about how that was one of the lowest moments of your career. With all that in mind, how does it feel now to be a champion?
Oh my God, 3rd time's the charm. I want this shit more than anyone in the world. I don't care what anyone says. Thank you, all you race fans. My whole team, man. Oh my God, I was crying that whole lap. Oh my God. Thank you, MRC Construction. Mike Cowell is such a special paint scheme. So many people in his life and some in my life that I got to meet that meant so much to me. Chris Lawson, Dylan Capello, Kyle Moon, Evan, Randy, Bill, Josh Williams. I've never heard you get that excited, but I love you so much. God, my fiance McCall has stuck through me. With all the brutal times I've wanted this championship for so long, I've wanted this moment all my life. So thank you, everyone. That's all I got.
Zane, can you bring me through that final restart, what it took to get the lead back, and what was going through your mind on that final lap?
I wasn't gonna let it go down like that. I was either wrecked or I was winning this thing. There's no other option, plain and simple.
Zane, we talked about you being the runner-up the last 2 seasons. You come over to front row. What was different about this year and this team that allowed you to get it done?
Just last year and the year before, we showed so much speed and should have won a lot more races than we did, but Bob Jenkins is the only reason why I'm here right now. And without him, none of this would be possible. And when I came here, all I cared about was the guys that were on this team, and I had seen their work ethic, and I'd seen the effort they put in, and I know they want it as bad as I do. And I didn't care what the trucks looked like, what anything looked like. All I knew was their work ethic was there, and we can make a championship out of this team.
A runner-up the last 2 seasons, but now Zane Smith is a champion. Jamie?
Well, it's a very different emotion on the face of Ben Rhodes. We heard Rich Lucius on the radio telling you after that 2-tire pit stop, this one is all on you. What could you have done any different?
I don't know. 2 tires versus 4, that was the name of the game. You know, we didn't have the pace all night that we needed to be up there and compete, so it was a great heads-up call by my crew chief. Ultimately, we just didn't need that last caution. I think we could have held him off for the final few laps. I was giving him all the dirty air he could handle, and I think we were going to be fine, so that caution just got us. I did what I could on the restart to try to get a jump, but with, 2 tires versus the 4, I just didn't have the grip I needed, and I tried to hold him off the best I could, and threw a move on him at the very end and just didn't have enough grip to make it stick. So all in all, I am proud of my Kubota Toyota Tundra team, ThorSport Racing. We didn't have the pace, but we got up there, and that's what matters at the end. We just got to go back to our homework, and yeah, second is not fun. I'm going to mope my way all the way back to Kentucky.
You got into the championship fight, the Final Four this weekend off of points. You only had 1 race win for the season. What do you take away from this year that will help you prepare for 2023?
Well, we just fight no matter what, and I've got that down. So we just got to find some more speed and get the consistency when it matters throughout the regular season. That would help make our playoffs a little bit easier. Maybe spend some more time. That would allow us to spend some more time focusing on maybe some R&D or sim stuff. But for the most part, again, I'm proud of the fight that we have, the tenacity, the grit to be able to come in clutch when we need to. But I'd like to not be coming in clutch all the time.
It's Ben Rhodes finishing 2nd this year, Vince.
Rhodes always seems to find a way, and they found a way again tonight to be in the mix.
I'm glad to hear you say that, Vince. I was thinking the same thing. It's just he's a fighter, and he just does such a great job. That's a great combination there. They did so many special things this year together, and they had it. They could taste it tonight. They were so close. After struggling most all night long, a pit call got them in a position to be champions.
I think more than likely for the majority of the night, they were the 4th of the 4 playoff drivers.
That late caution really ended Rhodes' best chance to win it, but it set the stage for Zane Smith to grab that flag and celebrate his first championship.